Hi everybody, I'm Myljoy Polestico, and today I'll be sharing with you my third Culture Kid story, my TCK story. But before I do, I want to thank the Change School for organizing this summit and providing a platform for the TCKs to share their stories and experiences. It's a great honor for me to be a part of this community and to be able to give my 2 cents in being a TCK. So, what does it mean to me in being a TCK? Being a TCK means having a developed character towards many cultures and being able to adapt to change very quickly. I'm a TCK because I was born in Cebu in the Philippines. My parents moved to Australia when I was very little, and I am now living in Singapore, and I finished my master's in Hong Kong. Growing up in Australia, I had two very different upbringings. At home, I had the Filipino upbringing, which meant that respecting your elders, not asking too many questions and doing what you're told. Study hard so I can get into university, so I can be a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, get married and have kids. So my life was really made for me. And on the other hand, I had the Australian culture and the influence of the Australian culture where they encourage you to ask questions when you don't know something, and challenge when something doesn't seem right, and discover who you are and who you want to be. And having these two takes on life became really confusing at times. There were many moments where I asked myself, am I Filipino? Am I Australian? And there were many people that were happy to express to my family and I that we truly didn't belong. I remember a situation, my brother and I used to walk to school every single day. And I remember there was a situation where there was these kids and we thought they were playing with us. And, so they started throwing things at my brother and I, and we thought, yay. And we were like just dodging what they were throwing. But as the days and weeks went past, the things that they were throwing at us got bigger and bigger. And then my brother and I realized that, I don't think they're playing with us. And we realized why they were throwing things at us. And moments like those were hard to really go through. And I think that TCKs suffer from rootlessness and have a struggle to find their tribe. They're probably the darker side of being a TCK. However, being a TCK gives you access to a palette of different cultures and experiences that allow you to be able to adopt to change very quickly and be able to connect with people on different age groups, genders, and races. And this has become a great advantage for me, and both in my personal and working life. I didn't become a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer. I decided to go down the path of choose my own destiny. And I work in the digital space. I provide digital marketing solutions and social marketing solutions for large multinational companies. I've worked with many brands to roll out their products across multiple different countries, and being a TCK, this is second nature to me. I immediately jumped at the challenge of being able to understand different cultures and know how a specific product would go with that culture and how we would go to market with that. Now I'm proud to say I work for a company called Declara. Declara is a unique social startup that's a unique social network that has an open knowledge engine, and that allows you to share your knowledge, your articles, your learnings, and your insights all online. Declara gives the user the opportunity to be able to discover, share, and organize their everyday learnings. And the reason why I bring up Declara is because it goes really well with this month's TCK story. And this month's TCK story or question is, how can education institutes adapt to create new and relevant learning opportunities for the 21st century? And also, what can we draw from the third culture phenomena to better shape the future of learning? And I think that, the path of learning and education can definitely be compared to the experiences that a third culture kid goes through. And by this, I mean disruption. Most of our educations, we've acquired it through traditional means and formal means, where it's usually delivered by a teacher that's been trained, and you go to get your education at school, in an academy, an institute, your college or university. And in the past, this was the only way that you could actually get your education. And times are changing. Education have now a challenge to recognize disruptive technologies which provide us different avenues to digest our education. So just like how a TCK is uprooted from their traditional heritage, they then get moved from country to country and have to be able to adapt to that change quite quickly. And the question that education institutes need to ask and are really challenged with is, how do they adapt to these disruptive technologies? And we live in a world, digital world and mobile world where Google, the internet, and mobile technologies push information to students every single day. The internet resources have now become an extension to our education. There are over 30 trillion links and 2 billion users online. And students use these resources to connect with each other around the world and to be able to learn. Today's students are the most diverse and connected generation in history. To be able to survive in today's global economy, they need to be able to have learning experiences that are custom to their needs, that engage them deeply and enable them to be able to do their courses at their own time. And this is definitely something that educational institutes have struggled with for some time. The CEO of Declara, Clara Pearson, she believes that we're becoming an open society around sharing content and curating content. Therefore, we're learning off each other. And the traditional means of sitting in a class, getting a piece of paper, getting that static piece of knowledge is quickly becoming in a very inefficient way of learning. So, and this is something that she learned through her recovery. And her recovery is an amazing story, which we don't have time to get into. But in her recovery, she realized that purely getting people together can really accelerate your learning. And Declara has come out of the understanding of innovations, the rapid collaboration, crowdsourced learning, and bringing the right people and content at the right time. Because the world is changing so quickly, everyone needs to be continuous learners, and education institutes need to keep up to this speed. So for them to be able to keep up with this speed, they need to create continuously improving programs that inspire curiosity and stimulate thinking. So things like the programs that the Change School is doing, it's something different and something stimulating, and it combines a group of students to be able to learn together and inspire each other. In an interview in Chicago's Idea Week, Ramona mentions that some of the smart people drop out of education institutes purely because we're not challenging them, because we're restricting them to a learning path that doesn't suit them. And they feel as though that when you provide a learning path or a curriculum to an individual, but don't allow them to create or develop their own learning path or curriculum, you actually imprison their mind. And the only way for them to set themselves free is to escape. So therefore they drop out. And the founders of Declara really understood that, being able to provide relevant learning content at the right time is key in engaging students. And we can do this now with new technologies like Elasticsearch, machine learning, and other open technologies. And this is at the core of Declara. So the Declara platform allows to be able to reprogram your learning experience dynamically. So the Declara platform learns more about the learner as the learner learns. Try that, saying that 3 times. If you think about it, so Declara platform, imagine if you could bring people together, have access to experts, mentors, learners, individuals from all around the world in one space, and together you could actually curate and collate information and data custom to your needs and what you want to learn, and have that pushed to your mobile device. Then imagine going back into a classroom, sitting down for 45 minutes, an hour, listening to a professor, having a thick textbook, and then receiving homework that isn't particularly inspiring to you. One is very engaging and the other one is very tedious. So education institutes really can, their new opportunity and their learning opportunity is actually within technology. And technology can bridge that gap of engagement to tedious classwork. And technology is the way for education institutes and for them to be able to adapt to these changes that students are demanding. An associate professor that's a user of Declara says that 21st century skills require us to participate in today's knowledge economy, and Declara gives this opportunity a reality for students to be a part of that. And being in education institutes, going to class, doesn't really give you access to the World Wide Web. It isolates the students and the institutes. There's an extension to the TCK topic for this month, and that's 2 more questions, and that's how can TCKs advance their hardware and software while paying it forward to the global knowledge economy? And how would we build this economy to catalyze change for greater impact? And I think the best way that TCKs can pay it forward is for platforms like this, sharing your experiences. The one thing, as I mentioned, the opportunity for education institutes is technology to be able to bridge engagement and tedious classwork. But there's something that education and technology can't provide, and that's experience, life experience. And that's something that TCKs get an abundance of. TCKs move from one country to the other, understanding and getting to know multiple cultures. And being able to share that with individuals who don't get that access is their way of paying it forward. And them sharing their experience helps educate the world of different cultures and the changes that are coming into this world. And I think that is the best way that TCKs can pay it forward. Thank you for your time, and thank you Change School for giving me this opportunity. I hope you enjoyed my story.